This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick.
I'm Kevin.
And welcome to our Dark Souls 3 lore. This is part 5 in our series, continuing to give you the lore that Dark Souls doesn't tell you outright in the game.
Right. And this episode we're going to be covering the Catacombs of Carthus and Smouldering Lake.
The Catacombs of Carthus, yes.
And Smouldering Lake.
Yeah.
So the Catacombs of Carthus are beneath Farron Keep.
Yes.
And it's kind of like the border between... Okay, so the Knights of Farron are maintaining order against the demons, against the abyss, against all that. There's actually a bit of ambiguity here because, for me at least, I've had a difficult time kind of distinguishing between the abyss and the bed of chaos, because the demons come from the bed of chaos.
Yeah.
All of them come from that, and then the abyss creatures are an entirely separate entity.
Yeah.
But Smouldering Lake has a border with the abyss, and I think that at least so far in this game, this is the closest we've gotten to the actual border of the abyss.
I think so.
That's why we had the Farron Knights as the boss of the last one.
Correct, because they're to protecting us from the abyss.
Right.
And everything.
Just as a heads up, this episode is going to be a bit more speculative, because a lot of my impressions of Smouldering Lake in particular is kind of based on the way the world feels.
Yeah.
This is where the demons live. This is kind of their last bastion. There are demon corpses everywhere. There are we encountered the stray demon.
Yes.
Up on the bridge, and that demon had lost a lot of his fire.
Correct. He looks like a stone golem kind of thing. I mean, he's not, as opposed to other demons that we run into in Smouldering Lake, where you can see they still have their power. The old demon, the fire demon, when hitting them in Smouldering Lake is you can actually see them in their fullest potential.
Mm-hmm. And this is kind of the last place they have that, and they have a lot of fire that they're casting. Mm-hmm. There's lava underneath it, and so a lot of the way that I see this area comes from what I see. But I'll do my best to back this up with what's actually there.
Sure. Rather
than just kind of theorizing, because there's plenty of that. And if you want to find that, it's out there.
There's a lot of theorizing. Yeah.
So
I start off with Hawkwood.
Right. So coming off of the Abyss fight, we get Hawkwood is confirmed as an Abyss Watcher. We had believed that he was a failed Abyss Watcher before, but after the fight with them, he congratulates you, gives you the Farron ring. So theory confirmed on that.
Exactly.
Hawkwood is a really interesting character, just because you find out more about his personal history than you do with a lot of them, because a lot of them, they're like, yeah, it's the past, I don't want to talk about it, here's what's up now. Mm-hmm. Whereas with Hawkwood, you get a sense of where he's come from, and with the Farron ring, you find out why and his motivation for all that.
I think he was a failed Abyss Watcher. I think is what it really kind of boils down to.
Well, he
failed, or maybe he had a falling out with them as to why he is no longer with them.
Yes. And yeah, the Farron ring description, or it reduces skill FP consumption, and it says the Abyss Watchers, for their hunting, required a sword technique that went beyond any existing art. Wolf's Blood provided just that, and this ring further extends the effect. So he has the Abyss Watcher ring, and it talks about how, obviously he doesn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And then after this conversation, you find some of his gear outside at a tomb.
Yes.
Outside of Firelink.
Yes.
So.
Which I assumed was him. He's done. He's given up, or he's finished with what he needed to do, and kind of leaves that at a tomb. I couldn't see. You can't see whose tomb it is, though, right?
Well,
it's
it's
expected.
Tombs everywhere.
Well, specific, like, I don't know, maybe he was leaving it on another person who was an Abyss Watcher or something.
Ah, okay.
Like, as to why he left it there.
Gotcha.
Again, completely speculative because the game.
Well,
I mean, he's just no longer is in Firelink Shrine, and if you don't go out of Firelink Shrine, you never notice that he's left his shield.
Most of the time, when you find someone's equipment, that means that they're gone. I haven't encountered him since then. To go a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
So, I believe that he is now dead.
You think he jumped off the cliff?
Maybe.
I mean, there's like.
Well,
come on, the enemies around there really.
But the thing is that that when you go hollow, you can Padme it.
Yeah.
And just give up.
Yeah.
And then you're gone.
Yeah, that's true.
Once you have fulfilled your purpose, once you have no reason to be, you cease to be.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how I interpret that.
Nice reference to completely bull reasoning for death.
Yep. All right. So down in the catacombs, you find the Carthus Pyromancy Tome.
Yes.
And this is where we find out a little bit about the swordsmen of Carthus, which I guess are probably the skeletons.
I assumed they're the skeletons in there, and I definitely assume they're the ones with the hats.
Yes, I love the ones with the hats.
I love the ones with the hats.
Skeletons with hats.
But this tome brings up the acid pyromancy, and the acid pyromancy is the more darker, right? That's the other side of pyromancy.
Yeah, it talks about their determination to win at all costs. And one of the spell's descriptions, I don't have it up right now, but it says something along the lines of, "For what good is honor to a pile of bones?" Which is really funny if those piles of bones are in fact the swordsmen, because they're like, look, honor is cool and everything. I've got to win.
I need to win it.
And then the spell Carthus Beacon, for example, kind of illustrates just how determined they are to win. The description says, Carthus's aggression has been likened to an uncontrollable fire, and since ancient times, its beacon has been used as a signal for war. And the way that this pyromancy actually works is that you cast this, and it's a buff, and damage increases with consecutive attacks. So it's kind of the all or nothing. Yeah. I'm just gonna keep hitting you until you fall down. Yeah. And yeah, so that is not how I play this game, but yeah, it kind of illustrates their determination to win at all costs.
Yeah. I should have cast that.
Yeah,
I didn't know about it.
Yeah, and then the third one is you enhance your blade with flame, which is so cool looking. Oh, yeah. It's so pretty.
It's pretty, and really helps with a lot of enemies. A lot of enemies are sensitive to fire.
Yeah,
in the game.
Beasts in particular tend to be. Yeah. So that's how we kind of get a sense for how all that works. Mm-hmm. And then we also find the Grave Warden Ashes, which allows the Shrine Handmaiden to sell the Yellow Bug Pellet. It repels lightning damage and links us to a creature that we're going to see in a little bit, the Carthus Sandworm. Yes. Because the Carthus Sandworm at one point attacked the catacombs, and this was how they repelled it and kept it down in the Smouldering Lake. So we'll be back to that in a little bit.
Yes. So you get to see Henri more, and Henri has lost Horus.
Yes, Horus has gone off to look for other stuff. I don't know exactly how they got separated, but she says, well, if you see Horus, let him know that I'm okay, and I'll keep leaving glowing pebbles to show him where I'm at. Yeah,
because that's her signal, as is tradition. Yeah.
And so you see her in a little bit more helpless situation, which we'll get back to that. She is not helpless, but right now she is a bit lost. Yes. She doesn't have the same determination and I'll help you and you can help me and we will continue going on together. She starts to lose a little bit of her focus.
Yeah, I think without that kind of her solid rock next to her, it's kind of hard for her to realize that's her partner. Yeah, and she's lost him, and she specifically says like he doesn't normally do this. Yeah, so she's really worried about him, and we'll talk about that more as well.
As well, she should. So skeletons with hats.
Yes.
which are a lot of fun, and it's a really interesting magic because you first encounter these grasping rolly balls of bones, which are one of the most entertaining enemies / obstacles in the game.
I think so. I loved it because I didn't expect it, and it was just this slight bit of comedy that got thrown in there because so much of the game is so dark, and then you see these giant balls of bones falling down and crashing into other skeletons. And it's like this is
and they also have
very Pirates of the Caribbean.
If you watch them go past, they're actually propelled by skeletal arms that reach out, grab the ground, and pull. And it's just this, and so that happens. And I also like it because it's an environmental danger that is just as hazardous to the other occupants of wherever. I actually, those stay up until you kill, there's some skeletons with big hats, capital B, capital H. And once you kill them, then the skeletal ball runs into the wall and explodes.
Yeah, and then it's done. Otherwise, it just ping pongs.
Yeah. And it's fun because usually you'll... Okay, my philosophy going through the Dark Souls games is this world is hard enough. I don't want to kill anybody I don't have to. So I see this skeleton guy with the big hat, and he just runs from me. And I'm like...
And he's kind of looking around, and he keeps just running.
Yeah, and so
I thought I had to follow him when at first that happened. I
started
following him.
I thought he was leading me, and then he just runs into a corner and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, he is absolutely trying to kill you, just in a more subtle way than most of the enemies.
He's leading you to be killed by other enemies.
Right. So yeah, you have that, and then there's a lot of enemies down there that are just mean
and just relentless. They just keep coming at you. The skeletons that keep rising over and over again, and it took me a little while to get used to fighting, like basically clearing them out or just running, because running was really hard. But there are certain items that I wanted to get, and if you knock over any of the pots, then the spirits come out and attack you. So
there's also a couple other things I want to mention before we get on to High Lord Wolnir.
Sure.
First off, I think that some of the skeletons down there are definitely, the swordsmen of Carthus as advertised, but I think that there's also any Abyss Watchers that died, because probably about a third of them cast Farron magic.
Yes.
And so you get Farron darts, which are way more effective when they use them. That's bull.
Yeah.
Farron magic is one of the most interesting ones to track in this particular title, because Farron magic is used by the Crystal Sages, by some of the enemies in that area, obviously in Farron Keep, and then as you go on to Carthus. So it's a magic that they're using to kind of spread in that area to help out fellow occupants and everything. So yeah,
it's interesting stuff.
So next up we have High Lord Wolnir, who is the boss of this area, and that was a fun and really creative fight. I liked it a lot.
I think it's a fun one, and it kind of goes along with the tone of the rest of the Catacombs, where it's horror, but it's kind of funny.
It's kind of campy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Giant skeleton in the dark.
Yeah,
coming at you.
That spews poison from his chest cavity for whatever reason.
That's where it comes from.
And the way that you defeat him is you break his bracelets, which is like an Indiana Jones type magic thing, and that's fun.
I loved it. I just and I know they had to make it difficult, but like the swarm of enemies that he comes out with makes it really difficult, because at first you're like, okay, this is tough. And just when you realize I need to break the bracelets, and you realize how to dodge, he starts sending skeletons after you, and he starts sending the Abyss Watcher guys to fight you while you're trying to fight him. And it's frustrating, but it's really well done. Yeah. This is creative boss battles that I'm talking about. Yeah. When it's creative like that, I like it. When they keep throwing night battles at you, it gets boring.
Yeah.
So.
Dark Souls 2.
Yeah. This game does it too, but not as much.
Yeah.
But this is a really fun one. You get to see, like you said, the poison and kind of cool animations where he falls and you attack his head and stuff. So it's fun stuff.
Yeah.
Was this easy for you as a caster? Because this is relatively difficult as a swordsman.
I actually didn't use magic. I used magic. I used the force push.
Okay.
To spread out because they can get hit by his attacks same as you. So if I have a little bit of space to work with, all I have to do is dodge his attacks.
Makes sense.
Creatures come close enough, and then spread them out. Right.
That makes
and
sense.
then it takes 3 hard attacks with my sword to break a bracelet.
Yeah.
So
that's not too bad.
So yeah, that
force push seems to be really handy for that.
Yeah. Also really nice to have around if you're doing PvP, because if you can dodge, basically I'm going for dodging one attack and I'll push you off a cliff.
Yep.
So I'm gonna fight you next to a cliff.
I have killed more people in PvP by getting them off a cliff than anything else. And I really wish I'd kept a video of it, because I totally This Sparta'd one guy. Because he was fighting me, and then I just kick him, and he falls right off the cliff. Because he kept retreating, and he thought, okay, well, I'll dodge away, and I kicked him, and he just flew off the cliff.
That's awesome.
And he was definitely looking at his gear. He totally would have beaten me, but no, can't fight that. Right. Anyways,
so after you defeat Wolnir, you get the Grave Warden Pyromancy tome, because it's just sitting over by him, and then his soul actually gives you the tendrils of black magic that flow through the ground and look so awesome. And I wish it was more powerful, because I would love to use that all the time. So Lord Wolnir is right on the cusp of the abyss. He is absolutely corrupted, and so his magic has taken on, instead of being it's technically a pyromancy, but it's using the black flames.
Yes.
And in the black flame magic description, it reads, "Black flames born from the abyss bear no shadow. They are said to be the impenetrable fires of humanity." So, yeah, some intense stuff, and he's gone to the dark side or whatever, and that's where he draws his power. He has his bracelets are from other lords, and he's collected them and kind of lost it in that. He's so close to the abyss that all that matters to him is maintaining his power.
So he's Parallax from the Green Lantern comics.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So that's Catacombs of Carthus. We'll move on to Smouldering Lake, which starts off with that frickin' ballista and the giant worm, which I told you we were going to talk about.
I want to preface this by saying I missed Smouldering Lake. I got to it eventually, but I was like 2 stages ahead, and talking to Christian, and he was saying, okay, did you do this? Did you do this? And he was like, oh yeah, but you did Smouldering Lake. No, because I had at that point kind of gone off of the guide,
right?
And he guided me without guiding me. He was like, remember that bridge? Remember how rickety it was? And I was like, wait a minute. So I went over there, you cut the bridge down, which is really cool because the skeletons just kept piling through. Yeah. And then climbed down, again, Indiana Jones style. You're climbing down the bridge, using it like a ladder to get into the Smouldering Lake area, which I thought was really cool. And that's where the fire demon is. You almost missed the fire demon. Yeah. Which set a tone to me about where I was going, because before that you're in the catacombs and the skeletons and whatever,
right.
And then you have this fire demon. What is this doing?
Why is this here?
Why is this here? Took him down, and then continued to Smouldering Lake, which that's when the tone change really is interesting. Speaking of that, from that bridge, if I'm not mistaken, you can see Horus.
That I don't know.
If I'm not mistaken, you can look down.
Anria's up at the top, and you encounter her again. She's like, "Still haven't found Horus."
Yeah,
I'm
almost certain that you can see him from the bridge. You're looking down. You can see Horus.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But her vantage point, you can't see it. But if you're over there,
Right.
you could see it.
Huh.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
So you get to the Smouldering Lake, which is the lava-y thing, and the ballista just keeps firing at you.
Yeah.
If you guys are watching this and you haven't played this section yet, you can disable it, thankfully.
Eventually.
Which I wish I'd done before, trying to like go around the crabs and find all the items and everything,
Yeah.
and Horus as well.
Right, Horus
is there.
Horus is there.
Yeah.
So as you go into that area, you're gonna encounter the sandworm that was
the Carthus
we
sandworm.
talked about earlier that had attacked.
If you continue towards what looks like the only path that makes sense, kind of like a temple within the rocks, the sandworm pops up and starts electrocuting you.
Yeah.
And it is frightening.
It's
like,
mean.
I kind of squealed a little bit when I saw it. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
I didn't expect
because
it.
There's this big open area, and I'm like, okay, well then I have plenty of room to dodge, and because that's what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden just, and then lightning, and
then you're dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I died quite a few times on the sandworm, not even trying to kill the sandworm, just trying to get through.
Yeah.
Finally killed the sandworm makes it a lot easier when you're doing boss runs. The other tip that I'd give you is that if you want to do a boss run, there is a bonfire, because the boss we're talking about is the old demon. And there is a bonfire just to the right if you're looking at that.
Right. So if you go just past the sandworm, but right before you get to the fog gate, take a right, and there's a little tunnel in there, and you can get to the King's Antechamber.
Yes,
I think is the name of that bonfire.
Much better place to try to do a boss run from.
Yeah.
So when I found that, I was really thankful. But the old demon was, again, it was one of the fights. I think it was decent. I don't think it was as creative. At least it wasn't a night battle.
Yeah.
But I loved the fire magic, the AoEs that come out, the stream hits his hammer. I just thought it was too similar to the fire demon that we fought above. To me,
the difference was the environment.
Yeah.
Because and this. So I try to be pacifist, but like
Sure.
this a boss. I got to kill this one. But like the old demon king is actually kind of a sad fight. Like I kind of didn't want to kill him because like the place where you fight him, like he has the last remnants of the glory that was the demons.
He does.
And he is completely surrounded by the corpses of his entire society.
Yeah.
Like there's just bodies piled everywhere, and that's the environment that you're fighting in.
Yeah. And he's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, he's just
hanging
hanging out.
there. I mean,
and after you fight or after you defeat him, it's like dead end. Go back to where you came from.
Yeah.
And head back over to.
Yeah. So he's optional at that point. I mean, it's sad because he's not one of the. He's obviously
not one of the lords.
He's not one of the lords.
Yeah.
So he is optional. I didn't know that though, because I saw this area. I thought, okay, well, I'll kill him, and then maybe some of the dead end. So kind of sad.
But we did kill him.
We did kill him.
Before we go on and explore a bit more of that area, the last thing I want to say about the old Demon King boss, says the shriveled old Demon King is now like a clump of burnt ash, but he is the last living witness of the chaos of Izalith. Yeah. So he's like the last of the original demons.
Yes.
And if there was a dialogue option with him, I would have taken it because that's one of the things. I mean, you know my obsession with the history of the magic and the pyromancies and the flame of chaos and where all that comes from and stuff. But like the last living witness, that's I feel like I killed the last like surviving person who fought in World War II or something.
Yep.
Like because that is an amazing time in history and
Just
we are
standpoint,
putting an end to that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Because
Rest in
we're
peace,
really
old
the bad
Demons
guy
King.
in this game? I don't know.
Kind of a little bit. So we go down in and we start to see the lava and the flames and the embers everywhere, and it's kind of glorious.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And I hate these. I can't remember the name of the creatures. The little buggy creatures that will poison you. I can't stand these. Like I felt like they were almost out of place in that area. And you even have a few thralls in this
Yeah.
area, which I'm like, I don't understand.
I don't know why they're there.
Yeah, yeah. But going through this area does lead you to. I honestly, I run a lot, and running through here, you get to a giant ladder, which gets you up above everything, and you can disable that friggin' basilisk. Not basilisk.
No, ballista.
Ballista.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you disable it and you're like, yay, I did it, and then you never have to go through that area again.
Yeah.
You could disable it and then go back and get items because there are some items right.
Right. So this is hypothesis on my part, but I feel like that honestly, as big as demons get, I feel like only giants could have put the ballista up there.
Yeah.
Because that is just way too huge. Because demons will be like 4 or 5 times taller than you.
Sure.
But this ballista is like multiple stories tall.
Yeah.
And so
it made me wonder if the giants put it there to keep the demons away.
Could be, or to kind of keep them underground in their Smoldering Lake area, which is fine.
Could be because it's this automated thing.
Yeah.
Whoever put it there just continues to shoot as long as it has ammo.
And so, like we were talking about with the Demon King, you see just I guess extinguished bodies of demons, because the demons actually get their life essence just like people get their life essence from humanity and all that stuff. Demons get their essence from the chaos flame, and so as the chaos flame dies, they die too. And so what you see is you have like I said, everything's all embered up everywhere.
Yeah.
But then you've also got just bodies and corpses, and like you get the feeling based on the architecture that this was once a much grander society.
Yeah.
But by the time you've gotten to the point where something dies and you just kind of push it over to the side, like you're on your last leg.
Yeah.
And that goes back to my idea that it's time for this to end.
Yeah.
We so So you have the Horus fight. You find him. He's gone hollow. He's gone mad, and it makes me wonder if when he first departed from Henri, she says this is not like him.
Yeah.
I wonder if he had started to feel himself going hollow.
Yes.
Because he was always angry.
Yeah.
Like the dialogue we get from him is.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was always kind of pissed. But I wonder if he thought that maybe he was a threat to Henri,
I think that's exactly
because
what it
she
was.
does matter to him.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think he wanted to isolate himself, and the area that he's in is pretty isolated. So I think that was the idea. Was he wanted to save her from seeing him and from him hurting her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the old school zombie. Lock myself away because I'm going to turn into a
Exactly.
zombie. I don't want to kill the people that I love. Yeah.
So, and I don't mind killing zombies.
Yeah.
So I killed him.
So I killed him. Yeah.
Right. And
He wasn't gonna let me talk to him, so I killed him.
That's true. So after you've had that encounter, you get the Ring of the Evil Eye from Henri, and this goes back to Henri of Astor, and this is one of my favorite things. Okay, so the description reads: the ring captured the foul spirit of an evil eye, a creature that ravaged Astora. The horrid spirit nearly destroyed Astora, but was eventually defeated by, quote, the sword of one most noble. That's Henri. She's a Goram hero.
Yeah.
And she's a boss.
Yes.
And I really like that little bit of look back into where she's come from and what she was able to accomplish. She is the hero of Astora, moving forward to do the next flame.
Correct.
And so she could absolutely be, a Lord of Cinder, and she is worthy to link the flame.
Yes. She is.
So-
She is. Like,
I-
and that's, they basically set that up from the beginning. She's like, we're both on the same path.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked that because it solidifies her as a, possible, hero, or
Yeah.
she is a hero, but the possible hero of the story. She could just as likely link it as you could.
Right.
Yeah.
And I also like the fact that that Henri could be male or female, because we haven't seen a female Lord of Cinder. Like we have the Witch of Izalith, but like, and the Fire Keepers, and the there are significant female characters, but we've not seen one this powerful since Izalith and her daughters.
I agree. Are there any other parts, because you got more of a story than I got out of Henri? Should we wait for that? Because does that link up, or can we go over to that now? Because to me, I thought that most of her story ended here, other than what you went through.
Yeah, but that's
maybe another.
Yeah, I'll talk about it later, because I do want to have all that solidified in my head, because I do prep for this.
Sure. There's more Henri, essentially, because I turned my back on my my dark sigil, and I healed the dark sigil. I cut off a lot of...
Because you wanted to look pretty.
Because I wanted to look pretty, because I'm so pretty. I want to make sure I look pretty. So I missed a lot of story on that. But anyways, we'll talk about that at another time.
Next episode.
Sounds good.
Because the next episode is when we're going to the place with the Winter Wonderland, as Christian calls it.
Yes.
All right. So we find 2 pyromancy tomes down here. We find the Izalith pyromancy tome and the Quelana pyromancy tome. Quelana is the only daughter of Izalith, daughter of the Witch of Izalith, because Izalith is a location, not a name. I'm sorry, because I've probably been saying that this entire time. But yeah, Quelana is the only daughter whose name we know.
Yes.
So we find these two pyromancy tomes back there, and this is where pyromancy gets fun, because these are so awesome. I actually used the Vestiges of Chaos on the last fight that I had, and it's awesome because you summon it together and you throw it, and then it you have this little fireball, and then it meets with this implosion, and then
that's cool.
It's so fun.
I need to go back and play a caster, because I liked my build and everything, but I missed out on a lot of these really cool effects, and I missed out on a lot of the lore as well.
Yeah. So we have the Chaos Storm and the Great Chaos Fire Orb. We have these are the primal pyromancies, which is the originals.
Yes.
It's just so overwhelming, because we've got this little fire stream we do and stuff like that. We have one in here that you just kind of lay on the ground, and it's like you're firebending on this.
Yes.
And you've got columns of flame and lava that just jump up all around you, and you feel like such a bamf when these go off.
Yeah.
Because this, and the demons have protected these. They have had these pyromancies.
Yeah.
Because this is their history. This is essentially the way that some cultures view Gaia.
Yeah.
That is the Witch of Izalith to them. She created the bed of chaos from which they all came.
Yeah.
She's the mother of demons.
Exactly. Which this is where I feel pyromancy really originated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is where pyromancy originated, where we were earlier. Where was it? The Great Swamp.
Yeah.
It almost pretended to be, and it's an offshoot. And I know they were big onto pyromancy, but this is really where it all came from.
Right. Yeah. And this is actually designated primal pyromancy would be capital P primal.
Yes.
Because this is another class of pyromancy, and it's so much fun to use. So the Quelana pyromancy tome actually will not be taught by Cornix. He says, "Oh, I can't handle this," and it can only be taught by a female pyromancer, which I thought was interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and jump ahead a little bit and tell you about Carla, because Carla is the one who can teach these pyromancies.
Yeah.
And
I missed Carla, so
you did. She's so cool though.
Yeah.
She gets me. She gets me because she has so many fun spells. Like another fun one that she gives you, this is later on, but rapport allows you to it's basically a hypnotize spell, and you turn an enemy into your ally.
That's cool.
So if you've got two knights coming at you and you're like, no, y'all fight, I'll be over here.
That's really cool.
It's so much fun, and like there's some places where it's just it's all kinds of janky, and like it messes stuff up, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got that, and then the description of the Great Chaos Fire Orb reads, excuse me, the Witch of Izalith and her daughters birthed the flame of chaos, but it devoured them along with their home. And that goes back to the philosophical thing that it's trying to tell us about here. We all know that fire is inherently powerful, but also inherently destructive, and it talks about that, and that is very much reflected in what the demons have been reduced to. As they lose their connection with the flame, it's the only thing keeping them alive. It's also the thing that keeps them from expanding and growing into more than they are.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
Interesting stuff. Where do we meet Carla, by the way?
Carla is in the Irithyll dungeons.
Okay.
So she's down there with all those crazy people with that one effing spell. One, you know the spell.
Yep.
That thing is nasty.
I hated that area.
Yeah.
So I missed her. That's a freaky area though.
It's a very freaky area, and that's the closest this one comes to horror. We'll get to that.
Get over there!
So on the description of Chaos Bed Vestiges, going back to kind of how fire works and what it does, it says, first of all, cast it. This is so much fun to watch. And it's traces of the tumultuous seedbed that birthed the beings known as demons. Demons born from fire bore its smoldering essence and perished soon after. Man shares his rapport with the flames to this day. Yeah. And I think I've mentioned once or twice on here about my theory that the Dark Souls series is talking about the heat death of the universe and the cyclical fashion in which that occurs. And this is very much in that vein, because it's talking about how yes, flames are necessary. The age of fire. This is how we work, but it is inherently unstable and problematic. And so actually with the next section we will get to where we'll be able to talk about Aldrich and another philosophy that has come up because of the dangers of pyromancy, because of the dangers of fire and demons and chaos and flame. Yeah. So that's what we'll have next week. Not next week, but next time.
Next time.
Next on the playlist.
Yes.
So yeah, let us know what you think, and I would apologize for the speculation in this episode, but I mostly want to talk about it. So down in the comments, let me know what you think. Let me know what you saw, what you felt when you were going through this area, because the demons, because of this area and the way that I saw them, the way that I saw the old Demon King, I felt a lot of sympathy for the demons.
Yeah, I did.
Because of this, and that was something I had not expected. Yeah.
So you expect demons equal evil.
Yeah,
so.
Demons are evil, and you know that's what a lot of the world believes. Yeah. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about that, and your theories, your ideas. I'm always willing to talk about those. Hit me up on Twitter at TWIOCH. Yeah. And we will see you next time.
See you later.